What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Vintage and Stuff podcast with your host, Drew Heifetz. Today I have Alex Bando. You know what? I forgot to ask her if she's ever been to a bando. But we get into lots of other amazing topics, like how she started. She actually started selling online and went hella viral when she was in her 20s. But I'm not going to tell you what she sold. You got to listen to the episode. She is a t-shirt seller primarily. She hits the bins hard. She sources crazy, crazy pieces. She is currently killing it on Whatnot and very loved and respected on the app and just in the vintage community altogether. Alex Bando. We have a very, very good chat. So I won't keep you. Stoked to be back, everybody. Lots of great episodes coming up, so make sure you go follow the channel and stay ready. Let's go.
We got vintage clothing by the rack. Just check out my Insta, how you gon' argue with that? Everything you see, I manifest. I'm an architect, I think I'ma run it back. We got vintage clothing by the rack. Just check out my Insta, how you gon' argue with that? Everything you see, I manifest. I'm an architect, I think I'll have some of that.
Good morning, Alex. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So we first met just recently in Denver at ThriftCon. We ended up somehow at the same dinner.
Yes.
Which those dinners are very weird because you have so many people and you don't even get to talk to everybody at such a large table. But it was cool to finally meet you in person.
Same. It's been a long time. So that was like wild years. And then it was like, okay, you're real. Like this is a person, not just someone on the screen. You know, it's different. I like it. I like meeting people.
No, it's great. Yeah. So I guess I first got introduced to you was during COVID. So that makes a lot of sense. We probably saw each other on some lives. You were probably on Chris's live. I can't even really remember, but somehow you were on my radar during that COVID boom.
Mm-hmm. Those days, those were good. Like that was like a good memory for me. Like all of that. I mean, that was crazy. And it was fun. It was just like, I guess we can get into it. I don't want to like cut you off.
Yeah, totally. No, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into that. I want to talk about that.
Okay.
But to kick it off, so yeah, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What keeps you excited about this business? What drives you to keep going?
Literally, it's the hunt. Like, I love just every day not knowing literally what I'm going to find. Like, I hang out at the bins most of the day, you know, but I also have like people that hit me up and just any point of any time every day. Like, I get something new or something I've never seen. And that's like, to me, that's what I'm chasing. Like, you know, it is fun to find things that you know are money. You know, clearly it's like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is going to pay my rent or whatever. But it's just being able to come home with something that I'm like, this is so cool. I've never seen this before. And then you can't find it anywhere. Like, those are the things for me. Yeah, after I drink my coffee, I'm out of my house till like 7 at night every night. I love it. That's what gets me out.
I was trying to hit you up. We were trying to do this before Houston, and you were like, "I'm at the bins, but the bins is firing today. I can't leave. Like I'm staying till the end."
Yes, yeah,
That's
I know.
awesome.
I felt bad, but like those
no, that's
days,
all good.
You know how it goes. It's like when certain stuff's coming out, it's like you just know. It's like this is gonna be. Oh my God, those are the best days ever. That's what I live for. Is just being able to walk out or go pick stuff up, you know, and it's just, I filled my car.
Yeah, that feeling that you speak of is a good feeling. It's what we all probably go for. Yeah. Sometimes you have those days that are just killer, and it you know, it's like some sort of
obviously it's like a dopamine hit, but it's also
Oh
like a sense of security. You're like, I got this. I got money in my pocket. Like
yeah. Hmm.
it's exciting. What was that day like? What were you pulling out that day that we were chatting?
That day, it was a lot of like, it was good, like whatnot shirts, like NASCAR, Looney Tunes, like that was coming out. But then there was a hint of like barn stuff, like a
Okay.
chore jacket and then pants. So like when I start to see like just a few, because I've had those days, where you can smell the barn. Like when that is mothball, that smell. So it's like I've had days where I'll get 3 carts. It's someone's whole barn that just got cleared out, whatever was in the attic. So like that was what I was chasing that day. I got a good amount, like I got like a cart and a half of stuff, but
Nice.
that's why I'm like I can't go anywhere because I just never know. I can't, and I'm a true gambler, so I think that also falls into play where I don't want to give up. Like I'm gonna win, I'm gonna get this, but I don't
Hell
know.
yeah.
I'm addicted to it.
No, it's a good feeling.
Mhm.
A cart and a half. To me, that seems like a lot. A lot
Mhm.
of bins pickers don't come out with much. There's a lot of bins pickers that'll go in and come out with like 5 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So a cart and
Yeah.
a half, that's solid. Good work. Is that normal for you?
Pretty much. I'd say every day I at least get a cart, but like at the same time, because I do so many different things that it's like it's hard for me. I'm not like a hoarder or nothing, but like it's hard for me to like leave it if it's like I could easily get, 30, $40 for that, or I could trade someone this. I have to just, you know how it goes. There's just so many angles with all different types of clothing. And that's why I'm like, I love learning
Totally.
about it too, especially from like the young kids at the bins. I learned so much from them with what's training or not training, but what's trending
Yeah.
and like what's cool. And I don't, so I pick stuff up because of that too, because you can throw them, a pair of Echo pants and they'll give me an 80s Sturgis shirt. You just never know. But
Yeah, no, I love that.
yeah.
I'm the same way. We don't have bins here, but
Hmm.
the high school kids come by and they teach me everything, and they kind of put me
Yeah.
onto trends because it's really hard to stay tapped in now to all the different sort of
Yeah.
sub movements that are happening.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're going to get into more bins talk, but I
Okay.
want to kick it off with a question
Hmm.
for the audience. What did you come up with here?
Come up with. Oh,
Did
the
you think of a
question for the
question? Yeah,
audience.
yeah. Did you think
Yeah,
of a question?
I
I hit
did.
you. I
Okay.
hit you like kind of last minute. So
Yeah. Okay. So to me, this is like super random, but I mean, I'm at the bins like every day. So I feel like this is just a fun one for other people
okay.
that go to bins or go sourcing. What is your favorite snack? Is it fast food while you're sitting there all day? Do you just get stuff out of the vending machine? People bring their own food. I mean, you've seen people have almost like a full on picnic in there. So it's like, what do you like to eat when you're sourcing all day?
That is great. What's your favorite picking snack, aka
Mm-hmm.
bin snack?
Yes.
Nice. What fuels the hunt?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, guys, drop that in the comments. All right. So you are known as the Harley Queen, and as of
Yeah.
late, maybe it's always been this way, but as of late, I've seen you more and more. You're really diving deep into the Harley
Mm-hmm.
genre.
Yeah.
I sold you a bunch of Harley shirts at
Mm-hmm.
Denver. You bought like all the ones I had on my table, there was a few good ones there, which was rad.
Yep. Yep.
What is it about Harley? Is this a situational thing for you because of where you're
Yeah.
located Midwest, or is this something that you were just drawn to, or how did this happen?
So like for me, I've always liked like animal shirts and stuff. And it's kind of crazy because when I was younger, I didn't really like Harley. I don't know. It wasn't like a part of where I was a kid, and I wasn't really into it. But the more I got into t-shirts, because before COVID, I, was starting to buy the animal Harley shirts, which happened to be 3D emblems. I just had no idea. And then every now and then I'd, look on eBay or whatever, like, okay, 3D. And I started buying them back then. I mean, oh my God, I have so many. But
Nice.
I just went hard with that because I like the graphics, but I'm very picky on it. Like for me, I like animals. That's like the biggest part. And the eagles, the wolves, the coyotes, all those different styles they made. I love it. And I like how the backs are different on almost all of them. So it's like they're all super specific too. And I just went hard with that. And it also where I'm located, I'm 5 hours from Milwaukee. So like, and then I don't know how far I am from Sturgis, maybe like 10 hours or so, but I'm kind of in the middle where it's like everybody kind of around me is somewhat, somebody knows someone that's a biker. And like the side of town I live on, I call it the big dog side of town. Like literally everybody, Big Dog, Looney Tune, Harley, like that's my side of Des Moines is that. So I don't know. I feel like it's my favorite thing because like there's just so many I'm still learning about. And I think that's like the coolest. Now I got all these other collectors, all over the world that they'll send me their ISOs. And then I'm like, wait, when did that come out? And then they'll show me like an advertisement or something that I'm like, I'm constantly learning. And I think for me, that's like a big part of the reason, especially like, with Sturgis and everything, they're almost like parking lot tees. Like some of them, they just made them. So I think that's why I went super hard with it in the
That's
beginning to
awesome.
now. Yeah.
Check out the shirt I wore today. I wore something Harley-esque. Lifestyles. I can't even get up. Lifestyles of the drunk and disorderly.
I love that.
And it's like
That's awesome.
fuck the world bike shop. I forget how
Yeah.
to wear, but
That's
what
sick.
is it about Harley in general that Harley is one of the it's probably the longest. I mean, rock tees have never gone out of style as a
Yeah.
but that's such a broad thing. Harley is is specific, yet it's stayed in vogue, stayed
Yes.
popular the whole time since the original 90s vintage boom, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it that you think makes it so popular?
I think it's just because it is timeless and like it's not just gonna go away. It's one of those things that's like permanently like, and it's kind of like it's been passed down through generations too. Like my dad was a biker, my great grandpa, it just keeps going where I think that might be why it's still such a hot thing, but I just think it's cool. I like it. I just like the graphics. I like the hunt for it. That's like legit my favorite thing is biker tees. And like, a lot of them can get crazy. The farther you go back, it's kind of wild what they used to print, especially as like employees shirts. It's almost like super, it can be controversial for sure, but it's
100%.
I don't know.
Tell us about some crazy controversial ones that you've seen.
I've seen, oh my gosh, some, I don't want to like say them because they're crazy.
Well, you're not gonna. You can't get. You didn't make it up. You just found a shirt.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, we know there's a lot of like Southern Pride ones.
Yeah, those. Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot of American Pride, like American made, anti-Asian import ones that are pretty wild.
That's the best way to put it. Yes.
Yeah.
So like, and that part is wild to me because like, it's not the just, ooh, Harley. It's like some of it is super where you're like, someone made this shirt. Like, there's some that I've seen that they're bad. Like,
they're pretty bad. Yeah.
Pretty bad. Like, I want to be able to say it, but it just, it's just, and it was an employee shirt. Like, I have one that I'll have to show you when this is done. That it just blows my mind that it got made where I'm like, how? I don't know. So
yeah,
I know I'm giving such a vague answer, but that
trying to keep it PC here for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some wild ones out there. Some ones you don't really want to sell, but then even those crazy ones, as bad as they are, people do want them. Yeah,
and I just like, for me, and I just hold on to like some weird ones like that just because it's, again, it's just a part of the history with it too. Like, they made them, like those were made, those were printed. So I try to, I just hold on to them. I don't even
Yeah.
move them.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
yeah.
Okay, we're going to jump into some Harley trivia. You ready for this?
Oh man, I'm gonna get burned. I'll try. Let's see.
Don't worry.
Okay.
We're not going to think less of you if you don't ace this
Okay.
quiz, because this quiz is
Okay.
probably going to stump anybody. But I thought it
Okay.
would be a fun little segue here. So
It is.
jump into
Okay.
some Harley trivia. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So Harley Davidson is known for using the pig or the hog on many of its 80s graphics. What does Harley Hog stand for?
Dude, I'm gonna get cooked by it.
Well, it's Hog, H-O-G.
Yeah. Harley. Oh, dude, I don't know. Is the first one right? Or no?
What this is the hog. Okay, so this is actually interesting history. I didn't know the full history of this, but the hog stands for Harley Owners Group, which was coined in the 80s. But this is very interesting. In the 20s, fans called the group, I didn't know this, fans called a group of farm boys who raced for Harley the Hog Boys. The team even had a pig who rode on the back of their bikes during their victory lap. So I guess they put a real pig on the bike. It's probably in Iowa, I'm going to guess.
Probably somewhere out here, I'm sure.
And
that's insane.
And then I guess in 1983, Hog became the Harley Owners Group, and that's why they use the pig. That's why they use the pig.
Because of that?
Because of that. Because of this
crazy. Group. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's so random. Because I never knew that.
We know that the pig shirts demand a premium. Everyone loved the Hog shirts, right? Yep. There's like tons of different versions of them. Lots of different 3D Emblem versions of them. So
yeah.
There's your first question. You ready for your second question? It's going to get harder.
Okay.
Harley Davidson's iconic jacket, which legendary jacket, often associated with Harley Davidson riders, became a fashion staple in the 50s, famously worn by Marlon Brando in The Wild One?
Dude. There is no way I'm going to get any of these. What? Okay, I don't watch movies or TV or nothing. I have
this idea. Is like so beyond even my generation, this movie. Like I might have seen snippets of it. This is it's called the Perfecto Jacket. So it looks like a normal double rider black leather jacket, but it's a shot Perfecto jacket. It had like some studding on the shoulders and shit. It kind of popularized biker fashion in general because it wasn't it took Hollywood making movies about bikers to make biker fashion become like
a thing,
popular. Really, yeah,
yeah.
Okay, 3D Emblem question. There's probably no way you're gonna get this one either. This one I didn't know either. What year was 3D Emblem founded? And it's probably not what people are gonna guess.
I'm gonna say, dude, I don't know. 1972.
It's actually way back in 52. You got the 2 right.
Really?
Which was shocking to me because
crazy.
52. I couldn't find much information on what they were printing back then, but obviously the Harley Davidson licensing deal was in the 80s.
Okay.
And then a bonus part of that question was, what year did they stop doing Harley shirts? This one you might know because if you're like, what year is the latest 3D Emblem I've ever seen?
Oh my gosh. I want to say... I'm starting to go through like all the tags and stuff where I'm like, wait a second. Dude, it's got to be like, I want to say like, I don't know, maybe 97 or 98.
It's from what I read, it was 94.
Really?
So 3D lost the contract with Harley. 94-ish. It wasn't like a definite date, but it said around 94 because
Yeah.
Harley at that point took everything back in house, and that's when you start to see
Oh, so that's when
like
Harley did shit.
Harley like canceled the deal, and then Harley took
Okay.
all the production of their own T-shirts like back in house. And you
I
start,
didn't
I
know
guess,
that.
like when you see tons of Harley tags through the '90s, like you don't really see '80s Harley
Mm-mm.
tags. It's all
No.
like other
No.
brands, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like Hanes and everything. Yeah.
All right, we got one
Interesting.
more. This is about vintage patches. Okay, Harley Davidson riders often adorn their jackets with
Okay.
patches. What was the
Mhm.
significance? I mean, I made these questions also just to
Yeah,
teach,
it's
teach something to the
educating me
listeners.
too. Yeah.
What was the significance of the 1% patch in biker culture, and how did it originate? So bikers would have these patches. I think they were diamonds. Just said 1%. They put them on their gang vests or
Yeah.
their biker jackets. Do you know the significance of this?
No.
Okay, so I didn't
I
even know.
do not.
I kind of knew this, but not to the
Yeah.
depth at which I read. So it is the 1% patch signifies the wearer is part of the 1% of motorcyclists who engage in outlaw activities,
Oh, okay.
because uh, the American Motorcycle Association stated that 99% of motorcyclists were law abiding. So I guess when bikers started to get a bad rep, the American
Yeah.
Motorcycle Association came out and said 99% of bikers are great. Like, what are you guys worried about? And then these guys are like, no, fuck
Mm.
you. We're the 1% that you're
Okay, that's
worried
kind of
about.
sick.
It's kind of sick, right?
I like that. I never knew that. No. Uh-uh.
Yeah. So there's some Harley info.
I need to learn more about Harley. That's crazy. All that I would have never known. Mm-mm.
All right. Well, we got a guest question from Down from Archive. You know this person?
Okay.
Um,
I
anyway,
feel like it's familiar.
tell us about 3D emblems. Do you think the market will keep going up? So let's jump into some 3D talk.
Okay.
You
I
bought one
think
for
it
me in
will.
Denver. Nice.
Huh?
I said you bought one for me in Denver.
Oh yeah, I did. Yes. I want to say it'll stay up because it's so popular, especially overseas, and it's just like timeless again. Like even the new Harley shirts, you can sell those or you can go way back. Like I have some like 60s ones on Champion tag. So I feel like it's never going to die. I can't see Harley or 3D. I mean, because that collector's market, what I have seen from some people that are buying from me is just absolutely insane. Like there's people that have, like 10,000 shirts in a room and they're all 3D Emblem. And I'm like, I don't think it's ever going to die. After seeing some stuff like that, I was like, okay, this is mega collectors overseas.
Yeah, that's
So I don't
wild.
think it's going to go anywhere. I really don't. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's been going strong. It's been going
Mm-hmm.
strong. Fuck. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been on it for at least 10 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
We used to sell the 3D. Feynman will always throw this in my face that
Mm-hmm.
he bought a hog off me at the Rose Bowl for like $40, and he'll
Yes.
always tell me about it.
Oh
But
no.
this was
What
like
happened?
in the early days. Well, he just like I did. This was before the hype was really well known.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we like back in the day, like we always were privy to what was cool and hot, but again, like trends come up that that slip through the cracks, and you're like, shit, I undersold that.
Yeah.
So there was a period where for us where 3Ds were just another Harley shirt,
Yeah.
and then you find out they're worth more. But so yeah, there was that. And then after that, because there'd be guys at the bowl, even 10, 12 years ago, that would come see us every, like first thing in the morning. Like, do you have 3Ds? Do you have 3Ds? And
Yeah.
they were on it, and they were always bringing them. We're always bringing them overseas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're right. Harley is still, 3D especially, but Harley in general is still
Yeah.
super popular. Like I can sell in my stores
Mm-hmm.
pretty much anything. It's like if it was made 10 years ago, it'll sell. It could be like a women's cute baby doll thing. It will sell. It could be like, and you said you had 60s Champion Harleys, which those are fucking fire.
They're crazy. They're cool. Mm-hmm.
What tag?
It's the Running Man one. I can't remember. It's on my wall downstairs. My friend, because she's like in her 70s, and I grew up with her. She's cleaned out estate sales, everything. And then I want to say maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, she came to the bins one day. She drives this beat up truck. She rolled down her window and she's like, "Take this. I got it out of a house. The guy died." And I'm like, "Okay." And it's like a checkered, almost looks like a box the way it really doesn't have, it has sleeves, but they're super short. I don't know how to describe it, but
Okay.
yeah, it's super old. And
What's the
then
graphic?
it's just checkered on the side and then says Harley, like Harley Davidson right here, and then checkers going down the other
Oh,
side.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like one big stripe of checkers coming
Yeah.
down. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sick.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool. To me, I think that's the oldest piece I have that is hard for sure. I think there's no way I have anything else that's that old.
Quick intermission to let me tell you that this is the free 45-minute version of the show. If you've listened before, you know that. What you want to do to get the full 2+ hours of this episode is jump on the Patreon for free for your free trial. You can do that down below in the show notes. You get a free 7-day trial, and then it's just $5 a month. Or you can sub right here on YouTube. Also, if you want to support the show another way, go shop the new F as in Frank vintage.com. We dropped a new website. Prices are in Canadian dollars. So if you're in the US, it's hella cheap for you. Like I said, prices are Canadian dollars, so your US money is worth a lot more, so prices will be hella cheap. Tap in F as in Frank vintage.com. Go tap into the Patreon or sub right here on the YouTube.
Yeah, Running Man is super old. That's like rare in my opinion. We've had some over the years. Like we've had Champion Blue Bar, which is more like 70s.
Yeah.
Those do really well, like the football style shirts. But the early Harley shirts were kind of interesting graphics because they're just like could be like a guy and a girl on like a classic bike. It wouldn't. They're not like super badass graphics.
No,
the old ones. Yeah, like the skulls and shit didn't really start till like 70s, 80s.
I want to say like late 70s. Yeah. Yep. It's interesting. I like it though. I love the artwork. That's why I'm hooked on it.
Totally. So, do you fuck with truckers only and those too?
The trucker tees and the semi shirts, all that, like, and then some of the, well, then there's, what's the other one? Why am I spacing on this? The ones that have
Just Brass?
Just Brass. I started getting into that maybe like a year ago. That was one that I was like kind of being under the radar. Like everyone's watching me buy, buying all the 3Ds, and then Just Brass. Because I wound up getting one that was on a Just Brass tag, but it looked so similar that I was like, okay, wait, what is this? And then I start looking at it, and those two go sometimes absolutely insane depending on, the graphic and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, those always stumped me. I tried to do a little bit of research last night into it.
Yeah.
Like you said, they look so similar to 3D. You'd think they were same factory or same company, Do you know much about it?
I don't. That's one that I'm still trying to like figure out what, if there was a crossover like with the artist or something. I still don't know. That one I don't know.
Yeah, Truckers Only was 3D. They just had obviously like they had a sub line, and I guess it was probably good for them because it had no licensing. They were like, we can just make all these shirts and not have to pay out Harley, sell them at truck stops,
Yep. Yeah.
But the Just Brass ones are interesting. There's like a lot of military ones, those like Pau Mia ones, or these like Vietnam era memorial tee, stuff like that. But yeah, if anybody has more info on Just Brass, like
I know, I want to know.
Fill us in, hit us up on the DMs, let us know. We want to know. Yeah,
for sure.
Something about 3D Emblem, like the graphics were just better. The quality of the graphics were different, and I think that's what blew them up, and they're more intricate. I think they had like a better technology for screen printing than
Most likely.
other
Yeah.
companies, and you can just see in the quality of what they were doing.
Mhm. Yeah. And I just remember the style for the animal ones, Back to Earth. That's the ones that have that little logo with the 3D. That was a whole
Really?
thing. Yeah, it's called Back to Earth. Yeah, there's like raccoon, coyote. Oh my God, there's wolf ones, deer ones. Yeah. So
And
that's
these
one
were
that.
non-Harley 3D emblems.
Nope. Yep.
What? I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
had those.
Yes. Yeah, I got a few of them.
Sick.
They're just animal tees. There's nothing on. Sometimes there's stuff on the back, but the ones I have, there's nothing on the back. It's just like a cool animal 3D. Yeah, Back to Earth is what they're called.
Wow.
They're
Okay. I
cool.
gotta keep my eyes open for that.
Mm-hmm.
What other animal shirts are you into?
The true, like the 70s, I mean early 80s. Like the Panthers, like I just like the angry looking animals too. I think those are sick. Those are the ones I like.
Yeah.
But
No birds, no fish. We want
no.
like bears, clawing
Yeah.
bears.
Mm-hmm. Those are
Sweet.
ones I like. Yep.
All right, let's change lanes. Let's kick it back
Okay.
to the beginning for you. I know you
Mhm.
have a rich history in reselling, I guess, going to the flea
Yes.
markets with your family. There's a lot to talk about sort of in the way you got to the COVID boom. So let's kick it back
Yeah.
to the beginning. How did you get in this business, and tell us about
Okay.
your family and stuff?
Okay. So my mom and my uncle, they always sold, like I grew up around them selling like Blinko, just mid-century furniture, like Austin Powers looking. That was like the big thing going on when I was a kid. So like when I was in middle to late 90s, that's when I was running around at all these flea markets. I was sick of thrifting when I was a kid. I couldn't stand it because like I mean, but I would go in and maybe get like a Beanie Baby or like a Game Boy game, whatever. But I mean, they dragged me everywhere to do all of this, like to sell Herman Miller chairs or like all of it, so that's how I grew up around it. And then my grandma got into eBay when it had its, huge, like 2000 era. And we would go,
Grandma's high tech, eh? Grandma's like,
grandma was in it. Yes.
that's
And
wild.
hers was random and weird. It was like, Hot Topic, that's when they started coming out with Nightmare Before Christmas lines, just hoodies and mugs and everything. And she started buying it because she liked it. And then there was like something that was sold out at the store. So she looked on eBay and then saw they were going crazy. Then that led to me and my grandma driving all over Iowa to all the Hot Topics and just clearing it out. And she was selling all this on eBay, which was insane because then
That's
that got me.
crazy.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, I'm like, okay, wait, if she can sell this. So then I was thinking about it because I had, you know what dream pets are?
No.
Okay. So this little lion guy right here. So it
Okay.
looks like a Beanie Baby, but they're from, I think, the 60s or 70s. And they're all different, again, animals. So I was collecting these things. I had like 100 of them. But eBay was so like new that you could sell like anything. So then I sold my whole collection on eBay. I think I was like 11 or 12 through my mom's account, and I made, I think, like a couple $100. And back then that was, I mean, I was paying like a quarter for those things. So that was crazy. So then I started doing that just every now and then, I would, it's something of my own, like one of my Pokemon cards or something, which I regret that for life now, but it's okay. I held on to some, but that's crazy that that'll happen. But
Yeah, for sure.
so then that'll happen. And then we go into, I mean, then I started just thrifting in my teenage years just for clothing, or picking up a cool animal shirt.
How were your parents getting this stuff? Were they just thrifting
Yeah,
all this furniture and these antiques?
everything. Like a lot of people, like again, the lady I told you about that was older that cleaned out estate sales. So like there was her and a couple other people in Des Moines that, because no one was really doing estate sales. You were just, purchasing the whole house and then they just divided up. So like we would go all the time to full on hoarder houses, and then everybody just had their own thing. It kind of just worked because Des Moines isn't like huge. So you could actually work together in a way like that and make it everybody get something. But it was mainly that and storage units, there'd be things like that, but it wasn't ever bins. I didn't go to bins till maybe a couple years before COVID, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was different running around to thrift stores. I mean, the difference, like, oh my God, like 20 years ago versus now, you could walk in and there'd be something Danish modern just sitting right there for $5. It's worth $500 like all the time. So
Yeah.
it was mainly that, or it'd be houses.
Was this your parents' sole way of making money?
Yes, my mom. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
For probably, I want to say about 10 years until it just started to get harder for her to find that, because that was her thing. It was all that, mid-century, and then it
So
got
do you
harder and
still
harder.
retain all that knowledge of all that furniture? And if you see it, you
Yes.
grab it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So like I've
Nice.
learned, yeah, I have a couple Herman Miller chairs. Yeah. It just like, and it, like after being around it so long, yeah, it stuck with me.
So Herman Miller is like one of the more popular ones. I've found a couple of those chairs, those fiberglass chairs.
Yep.
They're popular. They remade like those everywhere. Every trendy furniture company remade those chairs.
Yes.
What other cool things like from that era do you like?
My
Or
favorite, this is like, it's an advertisement thing too, and it's like one of my favorite things ever. It's called, do you know Naga hide?
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember what it is.
I think they did like mainly leather on couches and stuff. They were like the main company to make that, but they had it was an advertisement thing called a Naga, and it's like this little monster made out of leather. I'll have to show you. It's really cool, and they're hard to find now, and they used to be, only like $40. They'd be everywhere, but it's just, I wish I had one. My mom still has a couple of them, but it's just this little monster that they used. It's really cool. That's like my
awesome.
favorite. And then for me, Spud McKenzie, I have that all over my house. I just thought it was cool. He was kind of the creepy, in a way, just like weird dog that I got obsessed with. But I think the Naga thing's the coolest.
Nice. All right, continue on the timeline. So
okay,
you're selling on eBay. You sold some stuff on your mom's account. And then where did that lead to?
Okay. So then basically this is going to be a huge shift. So like growing up, I've always thrifted, I've always picked up clothing. Clothing was always my thing. I was always into just like what's cool, what's happening, what's coming. Like, and I grew up like in a country town, so I looked crazy wearing trip pants and everything. When I had 70 kids in my class and I was, I had the colored hair, all that. But I've always just loved just the changing times of all the fashion and everything. That's always been like one of my favorite things, is just paying attention to that. And then, okay, now we're going to skip. So then when I was 20, I was trying to think of like something cool to wear. And my grandpa, then I wanted to make clothing. Then I was like, okay, I want to do something. Because then that was like when, oh man, what was the website? I want to say like Merch Direct or something. When people started just making their own, t-shirts, everything. And my grandpa always wore pocket tees. So I'm like, okay, how can I make this different? So this is such a simple thing. I went to Hobby Lobby and I started looking at the fabric they had. And there was cats, there was wolves, so I stuck with the animals. And then I grabbed fabric. I remember I went to my grandma and I was like, can we make this like a pocket? And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, can we make this into like, just make the pocket this print? And this is how all of that became to be a thing, like huge. So I put it on Etsy. And again, I'm only 20, so I'm just like, all right, we'll see. I sold a couple of them, and I'm like, well, okay, maybe it's not as cool as I thought. Then all of a sudden, I'm not paying attention at the time to like who's ordering from me or anything, and someone buys one, and then I see I got like 200 orders in like a couple days, and I'm like, what just happened? And I'm telling my grandma, I'm like, something happened. I don't know what's going on. And then it was a guy that was modeling at the time for Levi's, and he had a huge, do you remember Lookbook?
No.
Okay, so it was like a website where you could post almost like your outfits and you would kind of tag where you got it. And it was like I
Okay.
don't know if it's still around, but it was a huge thing. And he posted it and it got like thousands of likes, all this stuff. So it just took off. And then I told my grandma, I was like, wait, maybe I should do like a different kind of fabric. And then so I just was picking up all these different fabrics, but that were cool. And then, yeah, I did that, I think, for about 4 or 5 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, Grandma,
Hmm.
get back in there. Start
I,
sewing. Let's
I know.
go. We got orders to fill.
Oh, she knows. There was a few days where I'd run a sale and be like, yeah, we gotta make 500 by the end of the week. Cause I didn't know how to sew, but she did. So then, trust me, I spoiled her. We went gambling. We had a blast for years, just
That's
years
amazing.
of, so then,
So
but
you're
then,
saying this with
yeah,
this after this original viral like moment
yeah,
with this guy. By the way, I remember this era. I
yeah,
remember when pocket tees blew the fuck up.
huge, huge.
This would
Yeah.
have been what, like 2010, 11, or what are
No,
we
I want to
thinking?
say it was, wait, how old was I then? I want to say it was about 2012,
2012.
around
Yeah, okay.
2012.
I
Yeah.
remember because this was sort of
Mhm.
it kind of coincided with the snapback times for us when we were
Yes.
doing really well with snapbacks and people were
Yeah.
matching hats to pockets and it was like this
Yes.
whole thing.
Yeah.
uh so kudos to you for crushing it. That's
Crazy.
so sick.
It was so
And
cool.
and so it went viral originally, which was like hundreds of orders,
Mhm.
and then it stayed really consistent for
It
that long, for four
stayed. It
years.
stayed because then I was like thinking about it. I'm like, okay, what's other ways that I can get this to be? Because then I started thinking about like promotion and marketing and then and there's a whole nother side of me. I used to take pictures for bands and stuff, so I knew how to work like a good camera and all that. So I started making my photos be like super clean and nice, not this shitty little, crappy,
Yeah,
please buy this. No, it looked nice. And then so I started giving shirts just to get it out there. Like, do you remember the Suicide Girls? The
yeah,
models. So I have a
yeah.
bunch of girlfriends, they do that. So I was sending it to them and I'm like, you don't have to give me anything, nothing. Just if you want these and you want to wear them, there you go. And then they would post it and then it would just be like, I get so many orders just again and again. And I'm like, this is insane. And it was in the era of Tumblr days. And I was obsessed with Tumblr. Like, all you had to do, was go out, take selfies of yourself in the right way, it get reposted. So then we started, me and my friend at the time, taking pictures of me wearing them, but in certain ways, where it hit, I guess, the hipster route as well. And yeah, dude, it went crazy,
I
crazy.
love this story.
It was
Tumblr,
awesome.
for people that don't know, was an
Hmm.
early, I guess, version of social media, but it was more of like just a picture media sharing platform.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
you would you would kind of share like you do on your stories, but you'd share other people's posts, and
Hmm.
that's like the why it's called Tumblr, because it would tumble and go viral. So you,
Yes.
if you hit on a photo, all of a sudden you're like, it had 2,000 reshares or 10,000 reshares, and then all of a sudden you
Hmm.
could link them too, because it was only web based. You could link it to
Yep.
your site or your Etsy,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah, we crushed on Tumblr too for a while. That was wicked.
Tumblr was awesome. Like and that opened my eyes to like a lot of different like independent artists too, because then people were, I mean, you could post whatever you wanted to do exactly that, to advertise for yourself or what you're doing, and that was Tumblr days were awesome. I'd come home from high school and I'd just be sitting there scrolling for hours and hours and hours. Like I loved it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny.
that's so cool. So what happened in the end? It just eventually the trend kind of faded and slowed down, and you got out of it.
Yeah, because then by then I was in college and I just kind of was like, it just was starting to burn out. It's just one of those things that eventually it was just going to stop. So, and then by then, Target and everywhere else were making, pocket tees that were just, the trend was just dead. It was done. So then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to give this up. I did like one final sale, sold like maybe like 100 more, but I quit that. I was in college, but like I said, a girl I knew, she was doing Depop, and for a few years, and I didn't even think about it. I was like, whatever, oh, she sells clothes, and then she kept telling me that I should do it. And I was like, what do you mean my stuff? Like, I was so confused. And she's like, no, your shirts, everything you have, you should start selling them. Like, and I was just lost. And I remember I uploaded part of my closet because I was still living at home. And then I made like, I think $500 or $600 in like a day. And I'm like, what is going on? And that was a few years before COVID. And then when I was in college, because I was in school for graphic design, but I was kind of just using it to learn Photoshop and learn stuff to just bring back into this, to do everything else. And I was just not feeling it. But my Depop was just staying so consistent that I was like, okay, wait, could I possibly do this for real? And then the last year I was in college, everything, it was just like, I was like, I could just not do this. And then, I saw the money difference and everything too. And I was like, okay, wait, why would I keep doing this when I don't want to, and I don't know. Then COVID hit in the middle and I quit school, found Virtual Flea on Instagram at one point, which was just insane. So I guess, should we go into that now?
Yeah, we will. I just want to
Okay.
touch on the early days of Depop a little bit.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
obviously, those early days were special on Depop. I was not on there, but I've heard from a lot of different people that like you could really crush in the early days on Depop, right?
Yeah.
And what do you contribute that to? More that it was just less saturated with sellers, or
Just when it was getting good, I pulled the rug on you. Well, you know what to do now. Go jump on the Patreon, get your free 7-day trial, and finish the more than 1 hour and a half of this episode to go. Or you can sub right here on the YouTube. It is only $5 a month, but you get a free week trial on the Patreon. I know a lot of you guys are like, so much work. I gotta go get the app. I gotta go do this. I gotta go do that. Just spend the time. Just do it right now. Put down what you're doing. Go sign up for the Patreon. You won't be sorry. There's hundreds of hours of content on there that I personally guarantee, will make you money in your business or keep you entertained, whatever you're more worried about. But the knowledge dropped on this show will make you money. Go jump on the Patreon. Free 7-day trial. After that, it's just $5 a month. Go check out FisandFrankVintage.ca. Did I say that in the ad? .ca. F as in Frank Vintage.ca. New website we dropped. Prices are in Canadian dollars. So if you're in the US, it's hella cheap. I won't keep you guys. Thank you for tapping in. Much appreciated. Make sure you follow the channel. Make sure you like this video. Thanks again. See you on the next one. Coming soon.